Welcome to r/Am I the Butthole, where OP wants to sue her friend for not attending her wedding. Will I be the butthole for suing my friend for not coming to my wedding? I'm a 25-year-old woman, and I recently got married to my husband in Bali, Indonesia in January. It was a destination wedding, but my parents and his parents paid for their own plane tickets and hotel. But we paid for our friends' plane tickets and hotel stays. Each plane ticket was about 2,000 USD, and the hotel was maybe $200 for a week. My friend Gemma brought along her newlywed husband, John, along, but paid for his plane ticket. The problem is that Gemma and John did not show up to my wedding. Gemma took the free plane ticket to Bali and the hotel room, and when I asked her why she didn't show up, she said that since they couldn't afford their own honeymoon, this was the perfect opportunity, and that Jim decided that he didn't feel like going. I was really hurt by this, since Gemma and I have been friends for over 10 years. Will I be the butthole if I took her to small claims court for the money I spent on the plane ticket and hotel? OP, no, you would not be the butthole, but good luck, my friend. I would be shocked if a judge awarded you that money. Your friend should have definitely attended the wedding, but I just don't think this is legally enforceable, so... Oh well, that's $2,000 wasted. Sorry, OP. I'm giving you 0 out of 5 buttholes, and your friend 1 out of 5 buttholes. Am I the butthole for not bringing my niece shopping after she was extremely rude and mean to me, even if she did apologize? I do not have kids, and I also haven't really had a lot of experience dealing with kids before my niece. I don't have younger siblings or cousins. I never babysat, etc. I'm explaining this because this is my blind spot and why I'm posting. About a month ago, my niece Gabby and I were at the park together. I like to spend time with her and usually take her out to do things, just the two of us every couple of weeks. While we were at the park, I was talking about an event that I'm going to attend with my boyfriend of a few years. She asked to see my dress, so I showed her a pic of me in it. She made a yucky face and said, "That's so ugly. You look really fat. Isn't your boyfriend gonna think it's bad?" I was so hurt. She's only 13. I'm not even a big girl in any sense. I have fat on my body, but I'm definitely not fat. My sister was surprised and said that she would talk to her. A few days later, she had Gabby come over to apologize. From my point of view, it was not sincere. She was rolling her eyes and looked angry and just got out the words. I told her thank you for apologizing and then told them to leave. I haven't gone out of my way to spend time with her since. I told Gabby that I would take her shopping for the summer and we would pick out fun stuff together. I look forward to doing things like this with her. Not really anymore. When we were at my mom's house for Mother's Day, Gabby asked me when we would go. After her stunt, I've changed my mind. I said she probably has plenty of summer clothes to wear. She was upset and said, "But I said I was sorry," over and over. I told her that I know she said she was sorry, but just because someone says they're sorry to you, that doesn't mean that your actions are forgiven. That you have to prove to the other person you won't do it again, and she hasn't. My mom and sister say I'm expecting adult behavior from a child, and that it was ridiculous to cancel the shopping date. I'm apparently beefing with the child at my big age. They said that she apologized and hasn't said anything else rude to me since. They asked how long I'm going to hold it against her. I really don't know how to take this. I trust their judgment most of the time, but this was just an outright mean thing for her. I am worried that as she grows up, this behavior will continue and she'll turn out to be a bully. Am I the butthole? So yeah, OP, if you want to not take her on this date, for any reason, including no reason, you're completely justified. You're not obligated to do it. And if this is the reason you want to use, then yeah, that's fine. However, in the comments, I think people are being overly harsh. Did the girl say something wrong? Yes, definitely, she does deserve consequences. But guys, let's be real. Every single 13-year-old on planet Earth has said something equally stupid. She should face consequences for what she said, don't get me wrong. But let's not be overly harsh on the 13-year-old for saying something stupid because everything the 13-year-olds say is stupid. I will embarrass myself for your entertainment and tell you a story from my 13-year-old life. I remember I saw a commercial. It was a shampoo commercial where some girl, was using the shampoo and the shampoo was so amazing. And then afterwards, some guy was like, "Oh, you're so beautiful. Let's go to a party or something." And she said, "I can't. I have to wash my hair," implying that the experience of washing your hair with this amazing shampoo was so amazing that was preferable to going on a date with this super hot guy because the shampoo is just incredible. And I remember being really tickled by that joke, and I couldn't wait for an opportunity to try it myself. So later at school, a teacher approached me and suggested I attend some kind of like summer camp. Like it was like a science related summer camp for like 5 weeks or something. And I said, I was thinking, this is my chance. I can't, I have to wash my hair. And I was tickled. I remember being really tickled by that because I liked the idea that I couldn't do something because I had to wash my hair for 5 weeks. The absurdity of it was really amusing to my 13-year-old brain. But the teacher was immediately insulted and called me out on it and said, that's very rude. Dabney, what you did was disrespectful. You can't talk to people like that. And I was like, oh, you're right. I hadn't thought about the consequences of the joke because I'm a stupid 13-year-old. It is a very dismissive joke. I mean, it's kind of funny in an absurd way, but yes, it's also very mean, and I apologize, and I felt bad. And that was like a memorable event that I still remember decades later of how sometimes jokes don't land and they have consequences. You got to own up to it. A lesson that's been reiterated to me many, many times on YouTube. Every time I put my foot in my mouth saying something stupid, all you can do is just be like, man, I screwed up. I'm so sorry. That was my bad. And then, try to be better. So, this is just part of the learning experience of being a dumb young teenager who's 13. So I think skipping out on the shopping trip is fitting, but I also think that OP is being a little bit overly harsh here. OP said you have to prove to the other person that you won't do it again, and she hasn't. But that's the thing. That's impossible to prove. If it were something like, she failed a math test and she says, oh, I promise to study, and then on the next math test, she does better. That's like an event that you can improve on. But to not do something again is something you have to continuously do for the rest of your entire life. So it's like an impossible thing to prove. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Down in the comments, people think this is an appropriate level of harshness and that the 13-year-old really needs to suffer for the actions. But I don't know, I think I just have a little bit of forgiveness for stupid 13-year-olds. Every single one of you has done something equally stupid at the age of 13, I betcha. In fact, I'd love to hear it in the comments. If you have an embarrassing story from when you're 13, some stupid thing you said or did that you genuinely wish you could delete from your life and take back, let me hear it in the comments. So, OP, I'm giving you 0 out of 5 buttholes. You are justified here. I wish you'd be a little bit more forgiving. And I'm giving the girl 1.5 out of 5 buttholes. It was a scummy thing to say. I hope she learns her lesson. Am I the butthole for replacing everything my wife loses when she organizes against my will? My wife and I each have private rooms in our house. Nothing weird, no locks on the doors, they're just our private areas. We also have areas of responsibility. She has the kitchen and I have the garage. That means that when I use the kitchen to cook and when I clean up, I return it to the order that she's determined is best. When she uses the garage for some project, all tools get put back where they belong and she cleans up after herself. The problem is that she's a neat freak. She can't stand clutter. I, on the other hand, have no problem putting my purchases in my room to deal with later. Whether it's toys or computer parts, I'll leave them in the corner until I get to them. My personal mess does not pass the threshold of my door. My wife sees this as a personal insult. She'll go into my area and organize. Then she'll forget where she put my stuff. I've started replacing whatever it is she loses. For example, I like to wear black Carhartt coveralls when I'm working in the garage or riding my motorcycle. So if I spot some on sale, I'll buy them and put them in the closet until I wear out the ones that I'm currently using. She decided that coveralls don't belong folded in the closet. I finally wore the butt out of the ones that I'm using. I went into my closet and the spare set was missing. I asked her where they went and she couldn't remember. She looked through all the closets in the laundry room and she couldn't find them. So I went and bought new ones out of our fun budget. Now she's upset because she eventually found the other pair in with all the Christmas gifts. She buys Christmas gifts all year long whenever she finds a good sale on something. She thinks I could have been more patient. I think she should stay out of my room. Or at the very least, not take things out of the room without making a note of where she moved them. Oh, okay, OP, so you have to be patient for an entire year and wait until Christmas. But she can't be patient and just avoid the room that's cluttered. Your wife is both dumb and annoying. OP, I'm giving you 0 out of 5 buttholes. She gets 1 out of 5 buttholes. Am I the butthole for deciding to stay full-time with my grandparents because I don't want to follow rules set by my dad's girlfriend? My dad kinda shared custody with my grandparents most of my life. He had legal custody, but they would help out by taking me for several days or a whole week or two during the month. I'm a 17-year-old guy, and I was still close to my dad, and we still had time for us and he was involved. About a year ago, my dad started dating someone new, and she seemed fine, but she has a lot of rules, and a lot of things she's strict about that Dad isn't. When Dad told me he decided to move in with her, by moving to her house, I asked him how that would work, and he said I need to follow her rules, and she was pretty clear about that to him. He also said that she would be enforcing the rules, and I would basically need to treat her like she's him or my grandparents. But I didn't want to follow her rules. They were so different from the rules I know, and I find some of her rules to be extreme. Since I didn't think that it was fair to ask my dad to wait to move in with her, I asked my grandparents if I could live with them full time. They said yes, and Dad was upset, but he told me if I wanted to do that, then he would make sure that we spent time together. I now live with my grandparents, and my dad lives with his girlfriend. She's offended that I chose to live with my grandparents, and she's offended I didn't want to follow her rules. She tried to insist on some of her rules even though I don't live with her. What? Like having dinner with her and her kids and taking part in making the meal with them. My dad wouldn't even be there most of the time. She also wanted me to join them Sunday for her planned family time. I work Sundays, so that was already a no. But even on my day off, I don't want to be obligated to spend it there. She expected me to help her niece move into her place too, and she has her kids helping with that. My grandparents were surprised that she was trying to make me follow her rules from her house, and Dad told her to stop, which she sorta did. But she said that she still found it to be bratty that I would rather live apart from him than follow her rules. She also said that I wasn't showing her the respect she deserved. And I told her that she's not my parent, and she doesn't get to demand the same kind of respect where I do what she wants. It's interesting how you're supposed to just automatically respect her, but she doesn't seem interested in respecting you at all, OP. She's just some crazy controlling A-type that has a million rules and everyone has to follow them or she gets stressed. Sounds miserable. OP, I'm giving you 0 out of 5 buttholes. She gets 1.5 out of 5 buttholes. Am I the butthole for making my sick husband clean up his vomit? My husband's been dealing with a stomach bug of some kind for the past few days. Vomiting, diarrhea, nausea, etc. I've been taking care of him and the house and the kids by myself, which is a lot of work with 2 of the kids under 5 years old. This morning, my husband wanted to try eating something, so I made him toast as requested. As he was on the couch nibbling on his breakfast, I was making our toddlers their breakfast and feeding them when I hear him violently gagging in the other room. He'd been hanging out in the living room during his entire illness, so he had a trash can there in case he had to puke or whatever. I called out to him to remember to use it or go to the bathroom if he thought he had to vomit. He didn't listen and threw up all over the floor and got some on the couch. My husband then comes into where I'm feeding our kids and says he's gonna go to our room so I can clean up his puke. I said absolutely not. There was really no reason for him to vomit all over the floor, so he needed to take care of it. I had been cleaning it up all weekend already without complaining when he was getting sick by surprise. But he had plenty of time to prepare for this and not make a mess. My husband is now all mad at me for not showing him a good bedside manner. So am I the butthole? So I'm on OP's side. If this guy's sick, then he definitely shouldn't be hanging out in the living room and puking all over the living room. And if he's right next to a bucket, then he should puke in the bucket, especially with gagging advanced warning. However, in the comments, people are really blasting OP's husband, saying that the fact that he didn't make it to the toilet means that he probably did it on purpose, and people are saying, this has never happened to me, I haven't thrown up on the floor since I was like 6. And if that's the case, you guys are living blessed lives, because this has unfortunately happened to me. I had a stomach bug. It was pretty recently, like maybe like a year and a half ago, where I woke up from a dead sleep. And after, being awake for 1 second, I was like, I think I need to puke. And I tried to get to the bathroom as fast as I could, and I did not make it. And I puked all over the bathroom floor. So, is the husband incompetent and badly prepared? Yes, definitely. He should have puked in the toilet. But was it intentional? No, probably not. He was probably just caught off guard because sometimes you have like 2 seconds of warning before you puke. But if that's the situation you're in, you need to be within 2 seconds of a toilet or a bucket or something. And I will say that after I puked all over the bathroom floor, I helped clean it up. My wife helped too. But if my wife had been feeding our kids, I definitely wouldn't have had my wife clean it up because I don't want her getting puke all over herself and then go feed our daughter. Gross. One time when I was in college, my brother and I had an apartment together and there was one toilet. And after, I think it was Thanksgiving, we must have eaten something really bad because we had the worst stomach issue I have ever had in my entire life, still to this day. We had to puke in shifts. I would go to the toilet, puke my guts out for like 20 minutes, and my brother would stand outside the door being like, you better hurry up because it's coming, and then I would finish it, and he would go in and puke for 20 minutes, and then I would stand out the door waiting for my turn, and we kind of just rotated back and forth for like 2 or 3 hours, just dry heaving nonstop. It was a great bonding moment, though. Hey, bro, remember when we puked our guts out together? That was r/Am I the Butthole. And if you like this content, check out my podcast where I publish the exact same episodes. Also, hit that subscribe button because I put out new Reddit videos every single day.